Cheaper broadband. Not 1 inch, Mr. Speaker, has been laid on his watch. Mr. Speaker, what is happening? Ordinary Kiwis are watching Cruiser Collins sucking off the teat of the taxpayer, $100 a week in petrol, at the same time she gets a chauffeur-driven limo. Bill English double-dipping on the taxpayer, still pretending he lives in Dipton, drawing an accommodation supplement in Wellington. And John Key standing up a trade mission in the Middle East, who paid $20,000 each to go with him while he does flak jacket photo ops in Afghanistan. Mr. Speaker, Jerry Brownlee is the only one to get a run on the board this week for that government. He managed to draw the biggest crowd in Auckland history and unite them against the government. The biggest crowd in Auckland history for Jerry Brownlee. Well, while all of that is happening, what are ordinary Kiwis saying? Well, here's a heartfelt plea from an ordinary Kiwi on a website. Every time National gets in, it costs me directly in the pocket, being an average Kiwi. Last time they were in, there were calls we need to tighten our belts. Then things did get better under Labour. But again, National are cutting things and costing me and mine in the pocket, using the same catch cry, tighten the belts for the betterment of the country. I suppose they mean things will get better for middle and lower Kiwis when Labour are back again. And Mr. Speaker, things just get from bad to worse for Bill English. 2 weeks out from the budget, they should be rolling in a string of positive press from their own pre-budget announcements. But instead they are rolling in the muck of their own making. Things go from bad to worse. Families paying more for their groceries. Wages stalled. A third of young New Zealanders out of work. And today we hear that the Cycleway, the #1 jobs scheme, created not one single job. Zero, nada, zip, nothing. Not one. Not one job from the #1 initiative of the Jobs Summit. That was the big deal. Well, what about the 9-day fortnight, the great jobs scheme? It was so bad, only 30 companies used it and they cancelled it in the middle of the recession. They cancelled it in the middle of the recession. What about ordinary Kiwis worrying about paying the bills? They got about 1% wage growth the last year. 1%, that was before inflation. They're going backwards and they know it. They're worrying about paying the mortgage, worrying about putting food on the table, worrying about the power prices going up. Meanwhile, Cruiser Collins is looking for a gas station. It just isn't right, Mr. Speaker. The tipping point has come because New Zealanders now believe that this is a government more worried about their own popularity than doing what's right for New Zealand. About having their interests at heart, about putting food on their table, about protecting their jobs. And here's the truth. Here's the bottom line. This government does not have a plan for Joe Average's job. They don't have a plan to grow this economy. What they do say, sir, is 4 things are going to do it. The 4 solutions. More jobs, they say, well, that doesn't work because the gap with Australia is widening and unemployment's at a record for the last 10 years. Reform the tax system, that means Joe Average pays more for GST on everything they buy, and the rich few get a big whopping tax cut. That doesn't work. Better delivery of public services, well, we haven't talked too much about that, so let's just go through a few broken promises. National promise they won't cut services. What have they broken so far? 49 million taking from road policing, 25% cut in teachers' professional development, 130 million over 4 years for adult education. And I just want to say that's 250,000 Kiwis who lost their night classes to save about $13 million a year. About 1/3 of the extra subsidy those Tories gave to private schools. Right. 250,000 ordinary Kiwis miss out for them to give a bonus to private schools. And that is wrong. And ordinary Kiwis know it's wrong. They think it stinks. That's why the tipping point is here. 25 million over 4 years from curriculum development and school programs in state schools. 28 million from the training incentive allowance. The thing Mr. Speaker, they pull the ladder up after them.
Thank you, Mr.